Here's bits from the testimony. Man, this shit is like, it's really bad.
And he put down the little food he has. You notice he doesn't have a box. He doesn't have a box of food. He has half of a bag of rice that he found on the ground, a broken bag, half a bag of lentils that he found on the ground, and he was thanking us. Thank you. This little boy from where he came from walked 12 kilometers to get there, just to get there. 12 kilometers. Look at this boy. And when he got there, he thanked us for the remnants and the small crumbs that he got. And he sets them down on the ground because I was kneeling at this point, and he sets his food down and he places his hands on my face, on the side of my face, on my cheeks, these frail, skeleton, emaciated hands, dirty. And he puts them on my face and he kissed me. He kissed me and he said, thank you, in English. Thank you. And he collected his items and he walked back to the group. And then he was shot at with pepper spray and tear gas and stun grenades and bullets shot at his feet and in the air. And he runs away scared. And the IDF were shooting at the crowd. So they're shooting to control the population that's along the Marag corridor. And as they're doing that, they're shooting into this crowd. And Palestinian civilians, human beings, are dropping to the ground, getting shot. And Amir was one of them. Amir walked 12 kilometers to get food, got nothing but scraps, thanked us for it, and died.
That's the gist of it. It's a lot worse if you listen to the whole thing, by the way. I think it's notable that he had this conversation with the senator. He's been giving this testimony in a few places. This is obviously he's doing it in PowerPoint form, but he also talked about it at length with Van Hollen. But like, I think it's one thing for like if a Democratic senator was to sit down with like a member of a humanitarian organization to talk about how they're not getting enough food or water or whatever. But it's another thing entirely. Like, this is a very explicit testimony, you know? It's a very explicit, very raw, very detailed testimony. And Van Hollen sought it understanding what it would contain. It's impossible to listen to it without despising the IDF. There's not really any other conclusion you can come to, right? That's pretty much like the end. It's an inevitable consequence of hearing the testimony, and he chose to hear it. And I think it's indicative of a broader vibe shift, if you will. Whether or not it's going to make a meaningful difference in the long run, I don't know. The powers that be are indeed powerful. You get me. From a special ops Green Beret too, like it's super credible to Americans, which is huge. Yeah, I mean it's sort of typical of our framing that we would wait to hear from the testimony of one of our own, I guess, rather than the Palestinians who've been saying this for ages. But I suppose it always works that way. Not gonna lie, for all the bad shit the U.S. has done, I feel like the average U.S. soldier would be disgusted by how the IDF acts. Oh, absolutely, no, 100%. Absolutely, no. It's, again, we fall into this blurry line. It's one of the reasons why I try to be careful when I denounce, you know, the U.S. military, this or that. The IDF, ideologically, the way the IDF is being operated is comparable, if not identical, to the Nazis. We're talking about, like, an eliminationist, hyper-dogmatic, fascistic, a military that revels in cruelty and suffering. It goes far beyond callousness towards human life or indifference towards human life or whatever. In this respect, their behavior wildly outpaces the behavior of the United States in Afghanistan, Iraq, even Vietnam, because for the most part, the character of a U.S. soldier in Vietnam was, holy shit, I don't want to be here. I have some crazy higher-ups telling me to burn down these villages. You have planes flying overhead with Agent Orange. You've got helicopters. The policy was psychotic. Bombing Cambodia and Laos were psychotic, but that was Kissinger, right? But we're talking about the character of the soldiers here, you know? It's very, very rare to find armies that are this hyped up. I can think there are some portions of the Russian military that are comparable, though I honestly think the IDF outscales them in raw malice, if not in firepower and intent. Maybe Azerbaijan and some of the conflicts they've had, or maybe I don't know enough to really compare. I don't want to compare bad bitches, basically. But in terms of, like, if you take the U.S. military versus the IDF, yeah, no, their behavior is abhorrent. There's a reason they don't want journalists in Gaza. It's pretty bad. Were the Nazis even this depraved? Yes. No need to bitch yourself into a hole that much. Everyone wants to prove that every current thing is the worst thing. I'll tell you, when it comes to being the worst thing, Nazis have pretty much everyone beat. Pretty tough to beat that. That's a high bar to clear. Doesn't mean the IDF's not trying. Anyway, hopefully the vibe shift means something. One day, everyone will have always been against this, etc., etc.